this you? You just met somebody on Bumble or a different dating profile. Maybe you met them in real life, and then suddenly you're like, what is this person? Who is this person? How do I check out their background? I need to Google them. I need to find their social media. Is this you? Because what you're trying to do is vet somebody. And today we're going to talk about that, how to vet someone without being creepy. And maybe you've done it, maybe it's been done to you, but we're going to talk about this because it is important to vet people. But there are a lot of ways that people are doing it that is intrusive, it's rude, and it's just darn right weird. So let's get started today. Thanks for joining the Dating with Katy podcast. I hope you have taken a minute to subscribe. I hope you're able to give me a 5-star review. Look, I'm just trying to help you get confident, be successful, and to have some fun dating. So I know it's hard out there. Look, at least you can listen to me because I have been successful. I've found a great man. I'm now married, but I was out there dating for 12 years. And in that time, I was also matchmaking. So this might be something that you're interested in. And this is what I'm talking about today is this whole vetting process. It's exhausting, right? Even the swiping process. And I'm going to share some stories about how easy it is for you to get dates when you have someone like me who is vouching for you because I know you personally and I can get you way more dates than any of the chicks on Instagram that you try to chat with. So guys, this is a great one for you if you're looking for some matchmaking. Just recently, I had a client. He was in my coaching program. We were looking through his Bumble. There was not a whole lot out there. So I said, look, I'm going to give you a freebie. I'm going to reach out to a gal in my database. She's adorable. Boom. She texted me back in 30 minutes and was like, yeah, I'd love to meet this guy. There's no way that that was going to happen for him online. But when you have someone as a middle girl, as a wing woman, right here helping you, that's what us matchmakers are doing. And so make sure you get in my database. It will be work with me, whether you want to be a woman who is going out with these great guys. If you want to be a client, you've got to get in the database. So after you do that, I want to make sure that you've been listening to these podcasts. They are practical, they are useful, they are helpful. Send them to your single friends. Like everybody, I was just re-listening to my first 3 podcasts the other day, and I was like, this is good stuff, man. This is what we hope 100% of the singles would be listening to, but they're not. And that's okay because it distinguishes you as a 20%er. And that's the kind of person that we want to be in dating, right? We're cool, we're quality, and we're ready for something long-term. Well, how do we get that? And how do we make sure that the other person is, number one, safe to be around, right? There's a lot of weirdos out there, for lack of a better term. And I've even had an issue where I now have a gentleman in prison because he was a weirdo. He came at me with emails threatening to kill me and my kids. And not only had he done it to me, but he had done it to multiple other people during COVID. And at that time, I Googled me. Now, have you Googled yourself? Google yourself. Go check this out. I Googled me and you could see my address. You could see where I lived. Google Maps has you can blur your house. So you might want to do that. There's so many things that you can find out about people now. And it's dangerous. And with the way that AI is moving, they can find your voice, recreate it. Like, ooh, the safety situation is real. And I have podcasts on safety in dating, so go check that out. In all of that, I ended up, the FBI contacted me. I had a direct line to the FBI, and he was put in prison. Sadly, he was still able to call me from prison. He still had the right, which, talk about creepy, it's not exciting. I mean, I made my house extra safe. I'm all for protection in any way needed. As a single woman living alone, the days I didn't have my kids, you better watch out. Don't come in my house. I'm going to take you out. But, we hear terrible stories that happen maybe on a date. And those are the outliers, you guys. I do want to remind you that it is not common. There are people, and typically women, who are very afraid to date. If this is you, you're not ready to date. If you're living in fear and you think every man is going to roofie you or is going to, grab you, 1, you should be smart and safe about it. But 2, if you always are thinking this and you're always talking about it and how all these guys are creepy, then you probably shouldn't be dating because your mindset isn't right. Go listen to my 4 foundations and really make sure that you're just not one of those girls who are perpetuating this lie, because it's an outlier situation and there are definitely ways that you can be vetting much better. Well, let's talk about how women and men vet. So this is going to be my first 2 main topics here. So typically when a man is, swiping on a woman, maybe even in real life, they will ask for your social media. So I recently had a good girlfriend here in Dallas. She is absolutely stunning, beautiful, tall, great hair, just thin. I mean, she is gorgeous, and she's got a great heart. She has a beautiful Instagram. She loves to dress up. She's very feminine. And she's done a lot of cool stuff on TV as well because she's a health and wellness professional. She sends me a voicemail. She's like, Katy, what is the deal? All these guys want to like see my Instagram before they even call me. It's like they turn into a fan. They are now my fan, and I don't even want to go out with them anymore. It's such a turnoff. So I understand that, you want to see more pictures of her, but stop. It is such a turnoff to women that their Instagram, their social media is more important to you than their character and who they are as a woman and you getting to know them. So guys, just slow down. Don't go into her IG. Don't go start liking everything. How about just ask her on a date? Like, I get frustrated because I can't even fathom this new school concept, because you guys know I'm old school standards with new school style. Now, a real man has a plan. Okay, let me say this again. The real man has a plan, right? So a good guy, and not the nice guy, but the good guy has got a plan. He wants to take her out. He's moving quickly. He's not hesitating. I just posted this the other day. Confident men make quick decisions. Like if you like her, boom, you're in. And if you are stringing a girl along, ladies, by the way, it means he doesn't like you. Just dump his ass first. Okay? I said it. Get, first couple dates, send him a text. No thanks. This is moving a little too slow for me. It doesn't seem like you're that vested. I'm out. Ladies, we all know we want someone who's vested in us, right? And if these guys are like, well, show me your IG and like, let me hit you up on a DM. First off, I work with a lot of older people, and if they're even doing that, gross. If his IG is full of hot women, skip him, gross. And ladies, don't ask for his IG either. Like, why don't you just go on the date with him? So make that a mutual understanding that I want to get to know you, not your Instagram. Now, if you do check out an Instagram and it's creepy, well, then you have to ask yourself, how's your picker? Because then that's a little weird that you even thought this person was cool. I mean, you should be able to tell from a decent bio, from a phone call, we'll be talking about that in a minute, if this person is quality. Are they talking about family? Are they talking about friends? Are they talking about their job? Are they positive? I mean, come on, guys. This is kind of common sense, yet common sense isn't so common. Okay, number 2, this is how women vet. Very often they will Google you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you need to Google yourself. You do need to make sure that that is safe, some of the information you don't want up there. But sadly, a lot of these men that are Googleable are going to have lots of photos, old photos, new photos. It's very interesting. We have quite a few successful clients, and if you Google them, you will absolutely be able to find photos and information and stories, and sometimes their net worth. And those girls are looking for that. They're looking for the stories behind you. They want to know your net worth. So if you're able, you need to remove that stuff off of the internet. I know some guys absolutely do. They don't want any of that information out. But for women, it's often a matter of safety. They want to make sure you're legit. You are who you are. Sadly, there have been plenty of men who have ruined that for the good guys. And so in that way, when men ask for the IG, it's a little bit like he wants to look her up and down, check out her details, see her friends. That's super creepy. When women are asking or looking at your, Google images and Google News, it's more for safety. Women are really, a little nervous about meeting some random guys. So I'm okay with that. But at the same time, ladies, don't let that stop you from meeting someone you thought was great. Just because he has a bad picture, could have been a bad day. He might have lost weight since then. Yes, his hair might be less than his old pictures, so you might be catfishing yourself because you saw a picture from 10 years ago. There's just a whole, bottle of worms that can come up because you Google someone. Now, I once had a client, and crazy enough, this woman asked not to see pictures of him, which I never do. I always show pictures both ways. And I said, well, I don't recommend that. I want you to be excited about how he looks. And she says, no. I read his bio and he seems amazing. I want to go out with him. I said, fabulous. So my client decided he liked to do it this way, where he would get her phone number and chat with her before the date. Now, I also don't agree to that because, and this is why, this is a perfect example. When men start to do that and you have yet to go on the date, you're wasting her time. And it starts to get old. Some women love it. Some women hate it. You don't know. Here's the deal. Get to the date. So in our company, we never let men chit chat with you. They can say a hello, looking forward to the date. I will see you then. Have a great week. So he starts chit-chatting with her and, against my recommendation. And again, I'm flexible. This is your dating experience. I will give you my wisdom. It doesn't mean you'll always do it. And sure enough, he sends her a picture. And it's not a good picture. Actually, we had much better pictures of him, but they were discussing something of a trip and a vacation. And so he sends her this picture. Immediately, I get a text from her that says, hey, I don't want to go out with him anymore. This is the problem, guys. You have bad pictures because a lot of you aren't taking good pictures. Ladies, you might have some bad pictures of you out there as well. So a bad photo can ruin everything. Here's another example. I have another client, and he sadly was in a supposed domestic violence situation. I say supposed not to minimize the truth of domestic violence, but to showcase the fact that you could have a drunk woman call 911 and all of a sudden the storyline blows up into something irrational. It does happen. And in his case, it did. And it went public. It went in the news. And now if anybody Googles his name, every woman is like, oh, well, you're an abuser. Here's the truth. There are 3 sides to every story, and we see it all the time in matchmaking, all the time in date feedbacks. This is what he said, this is what she said, and this is the truth. And you don't always know. You can't always judge. And I'm going to be doing a podcast on cheating coming up. And once a cheater, always a cheater. And we're going to be talking about those truths and viewpoints. So sadly, he is a really great guy. And yes, they did get in an argument, but he never, in no way, beat her or hurt her. So I think it's really important that we manage our Google expectations when we do Google somebody, and to really keep an open mind about getting to that first date. So let's talk about getting to that first date. The next step is going to be that you make a phone call. I cannot say this enough, that if you are not actually talking on the phone or doing a FaceTime with a person, and unless you're just meeting for a quick coffee to actually meet the person, do not go on a full-fledged date with them. Yes, in my company, no one's on a full-fledged phone call before a first date because I am the conduit. I am the intermittent person who is, bringing these two together, and 2 people trust me. So that is the beauty of what I do. But in real life, when you don't have a matchmaker, you guys must be doing a phone call first. You've got to get the vibe. You've got to hear those questions. Are they talking about their kids mean-spirited? Are they talking about their ex mean-spirited? Are they talking about how much they hate their job? These are super red flags. I mean, why would you want to spend your precious time on a first date with someone who is negativo, right? So always, always, always get a first call in. Now, ladies, if a guy hasn't asked for a call, then tell him. Like, men don't read minds, and he's maybe not sure, or maybe he's just lazy. Say, hey, look, I'm not going out on a date until we get on a phone call. It's that simple. I understand the value of text and getting things quickly exchanged, but get on a real life phone call. I know it's called a telephone. You pick it up, you use it. Whatever the case, get on a real life phone call. You can really feel a vibe about somebody, and how they talk to you and how you're blending the conversations. Like, I'm a talker. When I date talkers, it's not easy. I don't love the flow of that. So that was never a good fit for me, and I could tell by a phone conversation. So get on a phone call. That is the number one thing you need to do before the date. Now, on the date, you should be vetting, you should be listening. Again, I say 3 dates as a general rule because I'm going to tell you what, ladies, guys are very nervous if they're really excited about a date with you, so they're not always at their tip-top performance for a first date. They're not always the most friendly, and sometimes they're a little too quiet or too talkative because they're just nervous. So you want to be going on this date and looking for those kinds of things. But here's a few more things for your safety. If you have vetted someone, you still need to be safe. Always, always, always track yourself. So send your location to a girlfriend. Have your parents be tracking you. I mean, my parents, when they were alive, they could track me on their phones. Always share that with somebody for the night. And number 2 on this is meet somebody at a location. Please do not pick people up for a first date. I do not encourage it. I think it's a nice gesture, but it's awkward because if the first date doesn't go well or it's just not a win, when you drop her off, it's awkward for both of you. I have a client, he likes to insist on it. I said, stop it. It's awkward. You weren't that into her. So obviously, how are you going to walk her to the door and just give her a hug? Were you cool about it? Were you awkward about it? Like, at the end of the day, either guys, send her an Uber, but the danger with that is that she might think you're trying to get her drunk. Ladies, receive the Uber and don't get drunk. That's your choice. Make good decisions, please, and don't blame it on a man. Or just let each person drive themselves for a first date. If you do not know each other, do not get in a car with a stranger. You can say that for a second or third date, but I just do not recommend it. And again, awkward. And here's the other thing. If your car's dirty, gross. Go get it cleaned. That's a whole podcast on do your things matter. And yes, a clean car does matter. The next thing is make sure that you don't get drunk on a date. Like, you want to talk about vetting someone. And I know that's hard because, everyone says, I drink socially. Okay, great. Everyone drinks socially. But do they get drunk on dates? And I hear this a lot of times. I just did a whole podcast 76 on dating sober people, dating someone who doesn't drink, being the person who is sober and doesn't want to drink on dates. It's a win, you guys. It's a positive thing. It's a healthy lifestyle. So can you really vet for someone who is a drunk? Unfortunately, you really can't. You have to be on the date unless they mention something in a phone call or in their bios about being in AA. You might want to explore that a little bit more. It's a yellow flag. Like, what does that look like to you? How often are you going to AA? Those kinds of things are really good indicators of vetting beforehand. But if you're on the date and someone is drinking too much, it happens quite a bit. I do hear a lot of women tend to overdrink on the first date. I don't know if it's because it's free, so they're just getting their drinks in. I don't know if it's because they think they're cuter, because it's not. A lot of guys are like, Katy, it got gross. She got handsy. She was coming on to me. It was too much. Like, guys don't like that. That's actually really trashy. So know that your actions speak louder than words. And that is how we truly vet somebody. So if they say they're going to call you later today and they don't, yellow flag. Could turn into a red flag. If they say they're going to make a plan and they don't, yellow flag, turn it into a red flag. If someone's running late to the date, yellow flag, could be a red flag. So these are all ways that you can vet. And let's not be creepy. Let's believe that our pickers are on. You guys should be easily attracting the right person. If your bio is great, if your photos are great. Look, here's my theory is if you're at a 9, your DQ, your dating quotient, podcast 36 is like 8.5 and 9. You're always going to attract your equal, but reminder, you're going to attract the lesser too. So you are going to have to turn away kind of the people who aren't quite to your caliber. And that's okay. Do not feel guilty about that. You are moving on and moving up. And so just make sure that you are vetting reasonably and safely. And I want to see you successful in dating. So please make sure you DM me some ideas. My new podcast for 2024 are coming out. You are going to want to get on that. And here's another way that you can really make sure that you're vetting well. Go check out my standards list. I have a whole 1-hour workshop on creating your standards list. And this is important because it's not about the what that somebody brings to your relationship. It's about the who they are. And that's what this standards list does. It helps you create the qualities in a person that you're looking for and not just the preferences of what you're looking for, right? We're looking for the who. And you always have to make sure that you're creating yourself to be that who as well. Someone who is cool, quality, and ready. All right, you guys, until next time, make sure that you send this to a friend, give it a good little like and a subscribe, and we'll talk to you then.